Hey guys, looks like we are live, and we've got quite a group of people here already. So awesome. So I did ask you guys to tell me what kind of business you have before we got started. Want to shout some of that out if I see it here. Rock on Tour says I train IT professionals to prepare for certification exams. Cool. And then Scott Gilroy says, oh, these are some questions now. All right, cool. Well. Oh, and Scoo Bandy says dog trainer specializing in big behavioral issues. Most of my work is through virtual one-on-one lessons in a course. And then Leah says I offer annuities and income planning online. Cool. All right. So welcome everybody. This is going to be fun. I haven't done this in a while, so my heart's beating kind of fast. I'm not used to the live thing anymore. I think it's been a couple years since I've done one of these. But anyway, we're going to get going here with some questions. We're going to go for about maybe an hour or so. I'm not sure. We'll just see how things go. And I will try to answer as many questions as I can. I can't promise I'll answer every single one, but I'm going to do my best here. All right. So we did have a couple questions that came in before we got started. Let's see. Let me find those real quick. Just want to make sure nothing has been missed here. Oh, it does look like things have been, yeah. Oh, okay. E-commerce clinic. Oh, Marchin says, what's your favorite technique to rev up for recording? I spend most of the day quiet staring at the screen. It's hard to then get the sufficient energy to not be boring as I film myself. So yeah, super common. And the camera, it's true what they say, it takes away like half of your personality just by being on. So what I like to do is I definitely do some vocal warm-ups first just to kind of make my voice not sound like it's in here, like in my throat. And I just try to it's as stupid as it sounds, just humming and just like doing that just to kind of warm up your lips and everything. And then I like to, if it's possible, if there's someone around, just to have a little conversation with right before, just gets you warmed up. Any tongue twisters you want to do to make sure you're enunciating. That's kind of most of it. It's nothing too crazy. All right. And then it says Rock on Tour says, I'm betting that Wes uses a script. It seems like overkill until you actually try it. Yeah, so I do use a script. I'm not using a script right now, I'm live, but normally when I do my videos, they're very much scripted out. I started off not doing it that way. I'd have like kind of a bullet list of things I wanted to cover. And then I'd have to like look at the list. It's like on an index card, I'd look at it, like, okay, that's what I'm gonna talk about. Then I'd look at the camera and I'd talk about it. I'd lose my train of thought halfway through. I wouldn't say everything I wanted to say. So I started scripting them, but in a smart way to where basically it's how I would talk, right? So it would not be written like a blog post. It would be written like kind of stream of consciousness almost, like how would I say this if I were actually saying it? Then I put it in my teleprompter. I use a teleprompter and I just do my best to read it as if I'm thinking of these words for the very first time as I'm saying them. So, all right, let's get on to our next question and let's see here. Okay, first one up is Scott Gilroy. Cool. I'd like to understand how to craft an effective website to promote a B2C app and how this differs from landing services. So Scott, I'm not super up on apps in terms of how to sell them effectively. So all I can really talk about is in a way, I think apps are similar to services because they perform like a service for people. So basically, in terms of a website for an app, I would say a landing page is probably good enough, like a nice one-pager just to get most of it in there. And it's like anything else I talk about. You want to lead with the benefits, with the results. So many companies, apps included, it's all about what it is. And apps are a big offender of this. They love to just show screenshots of the app. That's like their big hero image. Here's like a screenshot of what the UI looks like, which is kind of missing the point in a way. Then I get if you think it's beautiful, you want to talk, you want to show it. I get that, but it's not the best way to sell it. So always lead with the result or the benefit that the app gives, nothing more. All right. And then, Marcin, we've already answered that one. Trying to find the next question. Okay, we got from Scoob Andy. What's the best path to revamping a website with AI? I have a GPT with my voice and I could add the instructions from any of your awesome videos, but is there an AI builder or agent? So I've tested a lot of AI website builders. They don't work the way you think they're going to work. There are some good ones who will give you like a really good head start. Like Hostinger has a good one that I just did for an upcoming video. But here's the thing with it. It's not going to just like it's not just going to take like what you give it, which is it just asks like a couple questions about your business. Then it'll make an attempt for a web page or a website, but it's not going to be perfect. So what you got to do is you got to start with ChatGPT. I love where your head's at with like you got a GPT for your voice, right? It's going to write it in your voice and your style, but you got to get the content first, then have the AI make like a good first draft for you. Then you need to do a little tweaking, right? But a lot of these make it really easy to add different section blocks and all that kind of stuff. The thing is, it's not really AI when you get right down to it. It's basically taking a template, right? AI would suggest that it's making like a really custom website based on your business. It's generally not doing that. So I still like Elementor the best for doing that. It gives you the closest control, but yeah. All right. And Brendan Forrest says he has a smart home services installation company. Awesome. Okay. Says, coach, mentor, trainer says, so glad you're doing this, Wes. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's fun. Like it's been a minute, but I feel like I'm getting my sea legs under me again. All right. And then Nate Moeller says, first time here. Welcome. All right. And then, okay, we got a question here from Body, Mind, and Spirit Wellness. For a multi-practitioner space, how do you create a cohesive brand that still speaks to so much variation? So I think what you mean is like you do a lot within your business. Is that what I hear you saying? Yeah, the brand I feel like personal branding is where it's at right now. That's kind of the secret sauce to where you can be doing different things, but as long as you are kind of the main focus there, it can work out really well. So that would just be like you creating content about what you talk about. Then people will just kind of get to know you and trust you, and you can talk about different things. Like let's just say you're going to be on YouTube, which is what I recommend the most for any business right now. You could be on there talking about, and I don't know what it is you offer. I'm imagining maybe life coaching or something like that. You can talk about like in different buckets, right? Like how to have work-life balance over here, how to get the best career or family. And you can kind of talk about those things in silos. And as long as you got a good personal brand that people can connect with, that's going to work pretty well. Okay. And then, Ricardo James, do you use your teleprompter? Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, Ricardo. I do use a teleprompter. Not today. We're live today, but in my normal videos, I do, just because I want to have tight control over what I'm saying in my videos. There's a lot of videos where people will just kind of meander and they'll kind of like I'm doing right now. they won't get to the point fast enough. And the name of the game on YouTube is to be very direct and just get right into it, or you're going to lose retention. So I use a teleprompter for that. It does take a little bit of a learning curve to be able to properly, I'll just say the word act, right? Because what you don't want to do is read the teleprompter like I'm just reading all the words. That's what most people will do when you start. You got to get good at pretending like these are the words that are entering your brain right now. So that's how it works best. All right. Corbin says, just launched my new site using PWL. Oh, awesome. Welcome, Corbin. It's been amazing. Homepage and service pages are done. Now I'm updating my location pages. How would you structure them compared to homepage and service? Yeah, so location pages isn't necessarily something I cover inside of that course, is probably why you're asking here. What I would say, Corbin, is think of these as service pages because they really have to be like a location with a service. So let's say you have a landscaping business, right? And you're in Chicago. You want to have like maybe a page about lawn mowing and a page about landscape design, right? Let's say those are the two things you offer. And you want to have it in different cities, Chicago, Elgin, Naperville. You want to have pages that are like Naperville lawn mowing, Naperville, what did we say, landscape design, right? So they're not just location pages. They're location tied to a service. And then I would think of them very much like a homepage because you want to, if that's someone's first kind of, the first thing they're seeing of your brand on that particular page, it has to feel like a homepage, right? It has to have all those different elements that are going to be intriguing and persuasive. So what a lot of people do is they just make a page like what you're talking about, and it looks like a blog post. It may have one image up top, then it's just a bunch of text, and that's not really going to do much. All right. Vid801 says, how do you come up with topics that will catch the ideal client? I assume you're talking about for YouTube videos. The first thing I want to start with is FAQs. So what are the questions that your clients are always asking you, and can you make a video about that? Start there, then start with like, what are the DIY versions that they're going to be looking up, right? So you offer a paid service. I don't know what it is. It says Web 801 here, so I'm assuming maybe you do web design. So a lot of companies will attempt to make their own website before they come to the conclusion they want to hire it out. So what are those questions you could answer? What are the things like, the top 5 things every website needs in 2025? You know what I mean? Those kinds of things that people will kind of search. They probably won't search that. Like I'm trying to think of they do search on the questions, the FAQs, and then like, what does a website need? What does a website cost? How do I find a web designer? Things like that. All right. And then let's see. And then Video 801, I joined YouTube to Clients Academy. Oh, welcome to that. How do I take the most advantage of the program? Just jump in. I don't know what else to tell you other than that. You got to jump in. What I would say is get started. Do not have the thing of, everything's got to be perfect before I can launch any videos, or I have to have like 10 videos ready to go. Just do it. Do the first step I tell you guys about, which is doing all the shorts just to kind of get your camera practice in, and just get started. Let that momentum carry you through. All right, Brett, are you still using that Sony shotgun mic you suggested in your course? I got bad sound from it, probably since I don't have room treatment and I was 6 feet away from the camera. Yeah, okay. That's probably your issue right there. I am using it right now. It's not my everyday mic anymore. I did switch to more of a lav mic that's wireless. I think that's from JBL. Is that the name of the company? I switched to that recently. I like it better. So if you're going to be 6 feet away from your camera, yeah, get a lav mic. It's going to work a lot better for you. And do what you can to treat the room. Like you can't see here. I'll try to pull it over and see but like I have like these moving blankets. It's like literally hanging over a door right there. So, just little things you can do like that. All right. We're getting a lot of YouTube-centric questions today. I like it. Swiftroot says, Alec, hello. How do you know if your YouTube content is going in the right direction? Mine wasn't, so restarting my channel with the proper strategy. Just do it, more reps. Yeah, I don't know what you mean about restarting your channel. You don't necessarily need to make a new channel, but yeah, if your YouTube content is not landing, it could just be that it hasn't caught on yet. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong necessarily, but the biggest mistake I see people making is you have to start by making search-based content. Don't go the route of like making those curiosity-based titles, right? Like the one trick to getting your lawn super green, you know what I mean? Like you want to start with how to properly mow your lawn, how to get perfect stripes in your lawn, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things that people might be searching for, then you can carry over onto that. But other than, I don't really know what's going on in your channel, so I can't give you much more advice than that. But I would just say, don't just do more reps in the wrong direction, but you need to take stock of like, what kind of videos am I making? Are there people searching for this or not? Let's get back on the right path with those kind of videos. Sound good? All right. Gene S., tour operator. What are your thoughts on an instant messenger on your website in order to respond to clients ASAP? What are the best instant messengers today? Yeah. So I think what you're really talking about here is like a chatbot, basically, right? Which Facebook does have that instant messenger one that you can put on your website. Works totally fine. The only problem with those is you've got to make an effort and a commitment, I would say, to actually answer those as they come in, because people do love interacting with those. The good thing is they will interact with those way before they'll be ready to like email you or call you or anything like that. So it's smart to have them. But the catch is they expect you to answer within like 30 to 60 seconds. If you don't, you've just made your first bad impression on them. So if you're gonna do it, you gotta have someone ready to answer it. Or what I like better is like an AI version of that, where you train on all of your FAQs. You basically train it on everything that you think people might be asking you on your website. And then it can just fire off an answer right away. There's a service I use, actually I think we still use it, I'm not sure, called Custom GPT. It's not affiliated with ChatGPT, it's a different thing. It costs money, but you load it up with all of your own information and you can embed it right there down in the bottom, down here somewhere, in your website. And then they ask a question and then it gives an answer in your voice, because you can train it like how you want it to speak to people. Do you want it to be super polished and professional, or do you want it to be a little more like a human being? I always recommend having it sound more like a person. All right. Let's see. Good questions here. Okay, Jennifer Hopkins. Jennifer, hey Jennifer. Would love to know how my local residential cleaning service can benefit from this. The local part is hard for me to get to parlaying into sale. Are you talking, and I know this isn't a conversation we can really have, Jennifer. I assume you mean YouTube. Because yeah, that's a question that a lot of people have. If you're doing a YouTube channel, aren't people from everywhere just gonna see that channel? And how am I really gonna get clients from that? So there's a few things. There's a video I'd want you to watch on my channel. I don't remember like the exact title of it, but it's where there's actually two like this, where there's people, local businesses. One's a local gym owner, one is a local landscaper, and they've had a really good success rate on YouTube. But one of them, Bobby is his name, he's the landscaper, he uses local hashtags, which like, I don't know exactly how to do that. You'd want to look that up, but like, I don't know if it's just a matter of putting a hashtag like in your description or if it's a separate thing for your local area. The idea being, if like, let's say you're in Denver, I don't know. Then people in Denver, when they're looking up cleaning tips, you might be more likely to show up for them, right? You can still show up for other people in other places, but it maybe stacks the deck in your favor a little bit in your local area. The other way to really make this work is to offer some kind of thing that's not you doing your service for people. Whether that is some kind of a like mini course, which it sounds kind of silly like for a cleaning, but people do offer cleaning courses, right? Like how could you teach someone, like what are your tricks that can get someone to clean their house in like a quarter of the time, or an organization course or something, to where now you can monetize this great big audience of people from everywhere. You know what I mean? So there's a few different ways of doing it, but it's not as much of a layup as if you could work with people anywhere. So I just got to be honest about that. All right. Okay, Gene S. Thoughts on a coupon or discount as a lead magnet? Yeah, this one comes up a lot. This is what a lot of people will, I'll say, resort to on their website. The only problem with that is the reason we have a lead magnet is to get people into our world, like to where we can email market to them before they're ready to take action. If they're not ready to take action today, they don't need your coupon today. They'll just feel like, oh, I'll come back and get that coupon when I actually need this thing that Gene's offering. So the better thing to do is offer something that they can use now before they're ready to reach out to you and hire you. So either that's like a DIY checklist of some kind. The kind of lead magnet I love now is, I don't know if you guys saw, but I have a fairly recent video about offering custom GPTs as lead magnets. So basically, you get their email address and then you email them access to a chat GPT that you make yourself. It's easy to do, don't worry, you don't have to code it or anything. Just you load it up with all your own information, and now you're basically offering yourself as like a consultant or a coach for people. That it doesn't work for everything, but like, I don't know what your business is, Gene, but that's like my favorite lead magnet right now. And I have someone in one of my courses who did this. He showed me yesterday. He's an interior designer, and he did one really cool. Where he basically puts in all of his photos of his work, is how he trains it. And then what people can do is they can get access to his GPT. They can upload a photo of their room, and it'll give them back a photo of like, here's what it could look like designed by me, right? And it prompts like, tell me a little bit about your style, and it gives them back a photo like that. So that's like really cool, and I think that's going to do really well for him. Okay, John Doe. Is that your real name, John Doe? How do I maintain consistency across images on Elementor with responsiveness across all platforms? I'm not sure what you mean by consistency. Do you mean like, I assume you don't mean in style. Yeah, I'm not sure how to answer that. Like, if you want to re-ask the question, I'm just not sure what you mean exactly by that. All right. Guiding Echoes. I'd love to hear about a time when you had a client where you even thought, yikes, this might be hopeless, but you were able to get results that you could hardly even believe. Yeah. So, geez, trying to think. I don't feel like I ever thought like, oh, this is hopeless, because I feel like I wouldn't have taken that client on, to be honest with you. I mean, we've definitely gotten really like better results than we thought. And that started happening when I started like really learning about all the stuff that I talk about on the channel now, in terms of just laying out that story from top to bottom of like making your client the hero, not you. Once we started doing all that stuff, like I actually started seeing really positive results from all my clients, better than I'd gotten before when I was just trying to like make them pretty, if that makes sense. All right. Brett W. Have you tested making a custom GPT that can talk to leads on your website and generate an estimate with caveats? Basically do the same thing as a discovery call. Any guidance on setting that up? Yeah. I have not tested this particular thing, but I know you can do it. I don't know if you guys know the name Marcus Sheridan. He's the They Ask You Answer guy. He runs a company called River Pools and Spas. He did a thing like an AI pricing estimator on his website. And the cool thing about that when it's AI, because there used to be pricing estimators that it would just be a calculator though, right? It would be like very, distinct little values you'd have to put in and it would come up with an answer. But with AI, when you talk about caveats, Brett, that's what it is. So it's basically, you're asking for all the information you want, and then you're also letting them know that they can also, what else should I know before I calculate this out, right? What do we need to know? What's different about your situation? The trick though is you have to train it the right way. You have to train it to know what those caveats could be. And you also have to train it to know when to say, I don't know the answer, because you can get in a lot of trouble if your AI is like making promises or like giving a quote. Estimate's one thing, but you don't want it giving like a hard quote of like, $5 because it hallucinated something. Because what company is it? It was just in the news. Like some company was like, the AI was talking about some kind of money back guarantee that they didn't actually offer. And the court said, like, you got to honor it because it was acting on your behalf. All right. Raconteur says, do you use Camtasia for your video editing? I used to a long time ago. I don't actually do my own editing anymore. I have an editor. Shout out to Zhivko. He's amazing. He uses like Premiere Pro or whatever. But what I'll say is if you're just getting started, use something simple like Camtasia or Descript is the one I really like because you can just edit things out. It's like you're editing a transcript. It transcribes everything you say. Then if you have like ums and ahs, it can automatically take those out. And then you can, like if you made a mistake, you just highlight the mistake of text, hit delete, and it's gone from the video. So it's pretty cool. All right. All right. Jimmy Mercer, give us a brief description of your video production workflow and what tools you use. Okay, so we already talked about I don't edit, so we're gonna take that out of it. It all starts with Asana. Asana is our project management tool. We do it in cycles, in batches of 2 months at a time. I'm always coming up with new ideas and just popping them in there as they come to me. I've also got a YouTube producer named Yusuf. Shout out Yusuf. He also does the same thing. So then we have a meeting and talk about what's the lineup for this cycle. What videos are we going to do? Then the first thing I do, I go into the script. I kind of like brain dump everything that I think I want in there, right? Like my own thoughts, like here's what I think this should be, basically a concept, a proposed structure, we call it. Then we go to AI. We go over to ChatGPT or Claude sometimes, and we've got these projects or GPTs worked out with my voice, with my structure that I have. Like we have a very kind of set structure in my videos. We have to have a hook. We have to have this piece and this piece. And it comes up with a pretty good first draft. But then we have to go through, I go through and I like just edit it, make sure there's not, because it can do a lot of repetition of ideas. So I try to take those out, add in some of my own flair, my own stories, experience, that kind of thing. So that part in the middle, it's like a good like 80% chunk that I have AI do. And then, yeah. Then it comes time to filming. I batch film everything in a week. It wouldn't take that long for you guys if like, the way I teach it to my students, when you're just starting out, you want to do 1 video a week and they can be simple. Start simple, get fancy later. I've been doing this 8 years. So like I've kind of like graduated to getting a little fancier with it. But for you guys, I would say just do all of your videos, record them all in like an afternoon, get your camera out, your smartphone, batch record all 4 for the month, and then, edit them yourself if you're feeling ambitious. But I always recommend just outsourcing that as soon as possible. There's not a whole lot of upside of like learning editing, especially since I think that we're probably just a couple years away from like AI being able to really take that over anyway. But I'll still use my editor because he adds a little something extra to it that I don't think AI is going to be able to ever do. All right. We have MortgageWorks. In a world where AI is making changes daily, what advice do you have when it comes to making content like blogs and YouTube to be seen and shown by the AI answers? Yeah, so that's a great question. I don't know the exact techniques that people are using, like to get found, like to make sure that your blogs and your YouTube videos are being found by that. I think it's like, just make sure that you're answering questions that people are asking in the AI tools. And then, I think Yeah, I don't really know. I wish I had a better answer for that one. Let's see, Jacob Henderson. Any advice for doing market research for a client that's outside of any networks that you interact with? For example, research for a robotics consulting and development company. Yes. AI deep research is amazing for this exact thing. So I just put out a video recently where I talked about the story where I hired a girl who was very good. This is in no way disparaging what she did. She's amazing. I love how thorough she was. But she did a lot of market research for me. So I had this what we call a marketing Bible for my courses that I sell. So she was interviewing people and all that stuff. But then when deep research mode came out on all the different AI services, a couple months ago, I guess, I did a test and I just I asked it, I fed it everything that I just knew about my client. So for you, for another client who you don't know anything about, you're gonna have to take your best guesses or just start from almost nothing and just say, hey, I need you to research the market for this company and just tell it exactly what kinds of things you need. Then it's gonna come, if you use ChatGPT, this is what it does. It's really smart. It comes back and asks you at least 3 questions to really understand what you're looking for. Then it goes out. It takes a half hour a lot of times, and it brings you back a 30 to 40 page report. Is it all gonna be useful? No, but it's literally looking through everything online, including forums, including review sites. And I think the forums are the secret sauce there. It's literally finding what people are saying about these different industries. So it's really powerful. It's a great place at least to start if you don't know. All right. Y'all Digital USA. What are your tips on making websites look sexy, as in look really appealing? Yeah, I think it's a lot about the images. It's about white space. Just meaning having, it's such a cliche, but Apple, right? Everyone always talks about the Apple website. That's sexy because things have room to breathe, right? Think about a store you go in, like one of these really high-end stores, like an Apple store. Things are not cluttered in there together. Things are they're spread around, there's you can see everything individually. That's a big part of making a website look nice or sexy. The other thing is the images. A lot of people use really, I'm just gonna say crappy images. They look pixelated, or they just find stock photos that just look like stock photos. So what I like to do now is Midjourney. It's my favorite AI tool for images, and they just got a major upgrade. Version 7 of that gives really nice looking photos that look real as hell. They do not look like AI in any way. Maybe there's still maybe some finger issues here and there, there'll be 7 fingers on a hand or something, but I think that's cut way down, but they just look really nice, and you can generate a ton of them at once. So you can just have your pick. You don't have to pay for stock images anymore. It's great. So those are the 2 things I would focus. Oh, and just getting a good color combination too. Do not throw colors at your website. A lot of people do that. They love big color blocking, and people I've noticed a lot of people that are just making their first website, they love a particular shade of light blue that they love to put on their websites. I don't know what that is. I don't know if anyone here has light blue on your website, and sorry if I'm calling you out for that, but for some reason that always pops up. What I would do is start by looking for inspiration. Go on sites like Dribbble with 3 Bs. It's a designer portfolio site, not to copy anybody, but for inspiration. What are the color combinations you think look good? And then take that and run with it. All right. Moms in Bloom, I'm on lesson 60 in your YouTube Academy. Are there that many lessons? That's crazy. That makes it sound like it's really hard to get through. They're short lessons. They're easy lessons though, right? But anyway, welcome to the course. I'm glad you're flying through it there. Mike Addison, any suggestions camera-wise for YouTube videos? That would be from the office, much like you do. Yeah. So here's what I would say. Your smartphone is perfectly good to start. It actually really is. There's a lot of YouTubers that use it, but if you want to get, and especially if you do portrait mode, or sorry, cinematic mode, where it blurs the background out, If you're looking to step it up, I recommend what I've got. It's the Sony ZV-E10. It's what I'm shooting on right now. It doesn't look super great when I'm live for whatever reason. It just kind of looks whatever, but I think it's probably the best YouTube camera on the market right now, and it's like $700 or something like that. So it's not free, but it's, if you want to step up from the iPhone, that's what I would do. All right. Mark says, just popping in. Welcome, Mark. Brendan, I'm using Elementor. What are the best ways to increase page speed? I found I'm having some bounces when someone hits my site. Yeah, this is normally where I'd throw it over to my tech guy, Tyler. Tyler's here, but he's not on camera, so he can't really do anything. But Tyler, if you wanted to just type in an answer for Brendan, that might be helpful. But it's all about just making sure you're not using like crazy big images. That's like the first thing I would say. All right, Steve T. Being a local service area business, wouldn't it make sense to self-host my WordPress site? I mean, customers around my area won't have any latency being so close. With a site not be fast and snappy. No, don't self-host anything. It's not worth. You can literally get hosting for $3 a month, or if I'm all turned around. Web hosting, 80% off right here. So yeah, don't host it yourself. If your computer goes off, like you got to keep your computer on all the time. You know what I mean? Like I assume that's what you're talking about, right? Like putting it just on your own computer, like a server in your own house. I wouldn't mess with it. All right. Anpa Marketing, can you please show how you create your custom GPT? I can't really show it. I'm not really going to be doing any screen sharing here today, but you can definitely find this on YouTube. There's no big trick to it. In the left sidebar, you're going to see something about custom GPTs, and then you're just going to click on make one, and then it kind of prompts you. You can either, there's two tracks. There's one where it basically just says, if you don't know what you're doing, why don't you just tell me what you need, basically, and you just, in plain language, just tell it what you need it to do, and it's going to like talk back and forth with you and help you out. But like the best thing to do is just make a master document of all the knowledge you want in there. And then you have to start thinking about like through the steps of like, how do you want it to, like, do you want it to work in steps? Do you want it to like ask people certain questions? Like there's a lot of different things that could go into it depending on what you need it to be. But if you can describe it to somebody, exactly what you need, you can describe it to ChatGPT and you can make it happen. It's not as hard as it sounds at all. All right. Let's find another one. Decorators development. Love your advice from the course. Did my first video starting to tell painters and decorators that I want to help with their businesses. Booked 4 discovery calls and sold my cheap PDF too. That's awesome, Trevor. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Jimmy Mercer. I have roughly 180 landing pages to produce for my service area towing services. Oh wow, that's a lot. I loaded Crocoblock's Jet Engine, so will that be the best plugin to use for form building and dynamic page generation? Yeah, sorry, again, this is one for my tech guy. I wouldn't know about that. All right, Brett, how do you choose the right lead magnet if you have 10 ideas? I'm not sure how to A/B test this since there are so many variables on the website. Also, better to do one-page worksheet as a lead magnet or longer. So yeah, this is gonna be, there's one way you could do it, which is you could do Facebook ads. Like, it's a little weird because I guess at the end of the day, you're not really you wouldn't be delivering on anything. So maybe it's not the most ethical thing in the world to do, but I've heard of people basically running Facebook ads for different, never 10. I would narrow it down from 10. I think 10's too many to start with. Narrow it down to 3, okay? Do some critical thinking. You got to really figure out, okay, so here's with the lead magnet has to have very strong overlap with what you actually sell. So it has to be like the person who wants to download this is also a perfect candidate for my service. The other thing is it has to be actionable, right? It can't just be 5 things to know. right? It's going to get you this result. So those are the main things to think about. And the other thing is it has to be kind of actionable in a short time frame. It can't be like how to change your life. You know what I mean? It has to be like how to, stop afternoon snack cravings or something like just something, a specific thing. So if any of your 10 don't fit those criteria, away they go right away. What you're left with, you could run Facebook ads to them and see how many clicks you get for each one. You know what I mean? Or maybe even if it's not like a lead magnet, maybe write them as like blog posts basically on your website, and then just like have them put them up on Facebook ads as just like a click through to read the article, and like whichever one seems to have the most interest, go with that one. I don't know. That's just one way to do it. Let's see. Daniel Combs, on your recent video, Dominating Local SEO in 2025, would this still work effectively for dynamic location pages? One service page has placeholders for the city state, like the plugin, if so. I think that if it's not a separate page, no. If it's one page where like things just automatically populate based on where the person is, I don't think that would work. I'm not super technical about that, but I don't think that would work because it has to be a page that has the content on it for a certain place, if that makes sense. James Keenan, what is PWL? That's my course, Profitable Website Launchpad, where I teach people how to make a client generation website for sale on my website. Oh, and by the way, I know Tyler on my team would remind me to mention this. If you guys like having this kind of format where like I'm answering your questions, inside of my 2 courses, you would get this kind of thing every week, but better because it's a small group over Zoom where we can actually talk and you'd be in the conversation. So just something to throw out there. If you ever wanted to have that kind of interaction and kind of coaching for me, that is offered in both of my courses. All right. Stephen Moore says, I have a couple of different ideas for YouTube channels. I have everything set up, but have anxiety about starting it and failing. How do I get over that? Okay. You're not alone, Stephen. That's like probably the number one reason why people don't do it. If it makes you feel any better, some people this makes feel better and some people feel like weird about it, but it's the truth either way. I would just start because here's the deal. When you're nervous and you're new and you're scared to be on camera, guess what? No one's watching you yet. So it's fine. Like, that's just the truth of it. When you start and you put up your first video, literally no one's going to watch it. Most likely, maybe 2 people will. And then the more you go and the more comfortable you get on camera, your audience will start kind of catching on as well. So it's a nice safe place to get started because no one's seeing you in those early stages where you feel like you're most awkward. So, and then later on, if you really hate those first videos, go ahead and delete them or unlist them or whatever. I keep mine on just because I'm not self-conscious about the old videos because I know I've come a long way. And I know that everybody, including you, can do the same. It's a muscle that you just have to work out and you'll get better and better. And just doing it makes it easier. Before I hit before I hit live, coming here today, I had the butterflies, right? Which I don't get when I just record a video anymore. But when it's live, it's a different feeling. But now that I'm here and I'm talking to you guys, those butterflies have gone away and I feel okay. That kind of thing. All right, Rahul. I'm a principal architect starting video content. I love that all of you guys are actually into YouTube. This is awesome. How crucial is my background setup? I have expertise but lack a high-end backdrop. Could this affect viewer perception? Yeah, to a certain point, Rahul. Here's the thing. You do not need a crazy professional background. What you do need is a clean background, just something that doesn't feel like what I always say is don't have your bed behind you, Don't have a pile of laundry over there, obviously. And you can do shockingly a lot with a little. By that, what I mean is I've seen so many channels where they just have a white wall right behind them, but they have like colored lights that they would just shine on the wall, like a blue colored light. And that just gives a little bit of depth to it and just makes it look a little better than if it was just a plain white wall. So what I like to do, what kind of makes the most impact is if you can have, I've got a good light right here. You guys can't see it, but it's like a nice light. Turn off all the other lights in your room, put that kind of light there, and then have like a little, like, see how I've got light bulbs, like actual light bulbs on this side. Having those things just make it feel a little bit more interesting. So if you just have a plain white wall, get a colored light, get like one little lamp, and that's good enough to start with. All right. Lynn Arnett. I'm creating my website now and was wondering what you think about taking your landing page that converts template and turning that into my homepage for my website. Yeah, a landing page is pretty all-purpose. It just has, a landing page sells an offer. So as long as your homepage is just selling like one service, then that works just fine. And even if it's selling multiple services, you just have to add the little section that has like your different services to it. But yeah, there's this big misconception that landing pages and home pages are like very different things. They can be, but generally speaking, a landing page is just, by definition, it's any page that people land on first, right? Whether that's selling just your business, whether that's selling a specific service, it's a lead magnet, it's a product, it's all landing pages. So yeah, take it and run with it. Let's see. Choice Surrogacy. Hi Wes, we're a surrogacy agency. Congrats on your personal journey. Thank you very much. For anyone wondering, my husband and I are in the middle of our surrogacy thing. So yeah, this is like pretty timely. We've been making videos for 9 months. Awesome. They're not ranking. What's the best way to get YouTube videos to get picked up on the SERP? Okay, so and again, this is not a back and forth conversation. I realize that, but I would just ask you, are you making them with search terms in mind? Because they have to rank for something. They can't just rank for like, there's no ranking if it's not in search. So are you answering FAQs? Because here's the thing, we were watching a ton of like those kinds of videos when we were in our research phase of all of this. So just think of like, what are those FAQs? Make sure you're answering questions there. And then the other part too is, and this should go without saying, and I'm not saying that your videos are guilty of this, but they do actually have to be good to some degree. I'm sure yours are. But I think a lot of people, there's just this misconception. It was always the same way with like SEO, with web pages. Some people think like, I made it and it has the search terms. Why isn't it ranking? Well, because people have to actually want to watch it. So you need to have a good hook. You need to keep people not interested in like, it doesn't have to be like I'm on the edge of my seat, like, but you have to properly answer the question. You have to feel, really helps if you're like personable, right? If you have a good on-camera presence. Now, not everybody does right away. It takes time to get there. But I mean, after 9 months, I would assume that you're getting more comfortable. But what I would say is, keep it up. Hopefully you're consistently making those videos, because what a lot of people do is like, oh, I made 3 videos 6 months ago. Why are they not catching on? It's like, well, you got to keep going, right? It's a numbers game. It's a longevity game. So that's the other part of this too, is 9 months. While I would like to start seeing some results around 6 or 9 months, you're not guaranteed those results. You do have to kind of outdo your competition, whether that's making your videos a little bit better than theirs, getting really good thumbnails that stop people in their tracks when they're looking. Yeah, that kind of thing. So just keep it up. I'm sure, just take stock of like, think of what you might be doing wrong there out of all those things I gave you. And maybe you're doing nothing wrong and you just got competition, and the more you keep going, the more YouTube will catch on to what you're doing. All right. Jeff, launched a new website that's a universal wedding registry website like The Knot that price compares. However, the traffic we have pushed to it just isn't converting. Any ideas on troubleshooting why? I really couldn't tell you, Jeff, without looking at it. There's a million things that it could be. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not able to give you a better answer there. Incredible Pawan, are backlinks still worth it? Profile building, classifieds, business listing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say SEO is dead and buried today. It's going there, I think. I think people are going to be going more and more to getting their questions answered over video or even AI. So, you know, they're still worth it, but if it's me in 2025, I'm making a conscious shift from all the effort that I would have put into SEO 5 years ago, and I'd be doing the same thing on YouTube now. So for what it's worth. Because when you say it's something worth it, everything's an opportunity cost. What you're spending over here, you're not spending over here. So that's kind of my take on that. Kurt, you talk about building a personal brand. Can you do that around an avatar? No, you can't fake a personal brand. Like it has to be around like a real person. Otherwise you're just kind of talking about a mascot, and that's never going to feel authentic, and that's never really going to go over well with anybody. If anyone has any like examples of that working, put it in the comments, but I've never seen that work. All right, Patrick, what resources do you use to stay on top of new trends and technology? Yeah, I listen to a ton of podcasts, especially AI podcasts. Like just looking through here, I don't know if I can even find it, but basically AI-driven marketer I listen to, leveraging AI, AI Explored, that might be my favorite one. So I'm on an AI kick lately, but other than that, like, because that's like the big thing I talk about that changes daily to where I have to stay on top of it. Other things like YouTube as a marketing platform, or just like website essentials, those things don't change all that much, right? These are the same principles that have kind of always worked. Not saying there aren't trends that pop up here and there, but yeah, podcasts is big for me. I also watch a lot of YouTube, of course. Yeah, so I always try to fill my head with what's going on, because otherwise I'm just like making stuff up, right? Jimmy says you still have some empty room effect on your live session now. Yeah, I didn't put all my things up today. It's more casual. James Ruffer, seeing traditional SEO changing and seeing traditional SEO changing and lots more people using AI to search. What do you recommend agencies do for ranking in AI results? Yeah, this came up earlier. I don't know the exact answer to this. There are YouTube videos that cover it. I think it just has to do with a lot of the same stuff, like just answering questions in a very specific way that they can grab onto. It might have to do with adding schema to it too, which is just a way of structuring it for AI, but I'm not really the one to ask about that. Ryan says, any chance this can be posted somewhere? Yep, this will live on forever on my YouTube channel. People don't usually watch them after the fact, but if you're watching this later and you're still to this point, good for you. All right, Scott Gilroy, what's the best way to validate potential business and service ideas? I have some apps I'm considering building. Is a landing page with an email waitlist effective to get a strong signal? Social posts. Yeah, so I like where your head's at there. An email waitlist is a good idea to gauge that. What I would start with though, Scott, is just going to ChatGPT. You can try it two different ways. I might do deep research for one search, and I might do just a reasoning model for the other. Like ask it, say, here's what I'm planning on building. Poke as many holes in it as you can. Tell me why this wouldn't be a good fit. And then you can read through what it tells you, and you can decide for yourself, is that accurate or not? I'd rather you do it that way than say, tell me if it's valid or not, because these AI models tend to be very agreeable. So I would rather say, like, tell me why this doesn't work, and then you kind of spot check each thing it says and say, that makes sense. I agree with that. Or that kind of falls flat for me. I think it would still work. Camilla, does the learning phase still matter? And can you leave the learning phase on a budget of approximately $10 daily? Yeah, this is, we're talking about Facebook ads now. I'm way out of that world at this point, Camilla. I'm sorry. I haven't really talked about that in a while. All right, Anisha, hope I'm saying that right. In your opinion, could one start a small-scale web design business using just Squarespace along with custom code? I get frustrated every time I start with Elementor and can design what I want on Squarespace. Yeah, I mean, people do that. There are agencies, I think, that specialize in Squarespace. In my opinion, the platform is not super important as long as it can fulfill the objectives of the business, right? So I happen to believe, and you probably disagree with me, like I've used Squarespace, I've used Wix. I don't like them as much as Elementor because I feel like you're pigeonholed a bit more. But I don't know a lot about Squarespace either. I'm not super well versed in it. So if you feel like you can do everything that you can get on a WordPress website with Squarespace, then go for it. And I think most customers, most of your clients rather, they wouldn't care what it's built on, just so long as you're better off focusing less on the tech and more on like what can you bring to the website that's going to make it actually get results for people. Trust me, this is where I was. Like I used to be a web designer who was like, I'm going to make you a website. And those websites did nothing for anybody because they were just pretty and they were just websites. But once I started saying, okay, what can I put on the website that's actually going to make it get clients for my clients, that's when things started turning around. So once you start learning about all that stuff, and you may already know it, sorry, that may already be your world. That's what I'd worry about more than the underlying tech. All right. Okay, so vegan knowledge, JJ. My YouTube is called Vegan Knowledge, but it's very broad. Would you recommend I keep it to one aspect like raw vegan or how to go vegan or losing weight on vegan diet, or is it okay to talk on all of it? Yeah, I think that you're fine. Okay. I will say, theoretically, I think you're fine talking about anything vegan on your channel. Like that is a topic unto itself. The only issue I see at this point is if you have a lot of competition, which I suspect you might, then you might want to start with a narrow niche. Then once you start catching on, so like whether it's the thing went away now, but like you said, raw vegan or how to go vegan. Yeah, so pick one of those that you think gets a lot of search traffic that doesn't have a whole lot of competition and try to dominate that. Then it'll be a very natural progression to start branching out into different areas of veganism. So yeah, I would start small and then broaden out as you go. All right, Dr. Srihari. I have a medical education channel called One Medicine on YouTube. I've hired a couple of tutors for the same, and I'm currently at 2,000 subscribers. Congrats. I want to know how to take it forward and grow. Yeah, so I don't really know exactly what stage you're at. I mean, I know how many subscribers you have, but that doesn't really tell me a complete picture here. What I will say is when you're starting, and I've already said this several times today, so I don't want to repeat too much, but when you start with those search-based terms, at a certain point, you can expand out. And now you can start going for what we call discoverable videos, which are ones that people don't search for, but they are shown on people's homepages because YouTube they know exactly what everybody likes individually, and they'll just say, oh, John over here would love this video, I'm gonna show it to him. So at a certain point, I usually say somewhere around a year in, you can kind of deviate from just doing the search-based topics, and then you can start doing those more like broad topics, right? So it's medical education. So I don't know if this is, I assume that means it's like for doctors. I don't know. Let's just say it's for doctors. So one might be like how to schedule more patients in a day. I don't know. That's a search term. But then after about a year, you can start making things like this one strategy let me see 40 patients in a day or something like that. You know what I mean? No one's searching for any of that, but it's a really like interesting title that when people see it on their home screen, they'll click on it, and that's how videos go more viral. Search videos very rarely ever go viral in a traditional sense. So yeah, that knowing as little as I do about your channel, that's what I would recommend. Let's see. Quiet King 24. Do you even think it's possible to start a successful website creation business in 2025, even though AI can now make websites? Yeah, AI can't make websites right now, not on their own. So I would say, here's what I have two minds of this, right? Because AI is going to be very disruptive to a lot of stuff. We don't really know what it's going to do exactly. I don't know. Like, I don't know how long like website designers are going to have like the same kind of career they can have now. I don't know. But what I will say is almost no matter what, when the playing field is leveled, like AI is going to do to a lot of industries, the question then becomes, okay, well, how do I then stand out, right? I'm going to put myself in your client's shoes, okay? I'm a small business owner. I need a website, but AI can make a beautiful website, but it's also making it for every one of my competitors. So how am I going to stand out? I still need to consult with somebody, or I still need someone who's a professional who can do it better than AI can do it, or than the norm, the baseline. Because that's the thing, AI will be a baseline. That baseline will keep going up and up. But then as everybody's websites get better, someone's website's going to be better than that somehow, right? They're not all going to be the same, or it's just going to be like, I can't imagine a world of that. Like that would be really, I just don't think that would ever, human nature does not support that. So people will always want to do things better. So I do think there's something to be said for going into web design still, but strategy is really what I would wrap my head around if I were you, not just design. Because yeah, AI will very, very quickly be able to design a website, but you're the one who has to bring the strategy to it. Because the AI right now, like they're not concerned with like anything like the strategy or what goes on the website. They're just like, hey, let's find an AI photo that talks about dog walking because this is a dog walking website. You know what I mean? So strategy is going to be the way forward, not just design. All right. Seeing some repeats. I know like some people are asking the same question more than once here. Okay, Sarah, I hear you mentioning the pet sitting industry quite a bit in your content. How could I, yeah, it's just like when I'm on the spot trying to think of like a business, like for some reason that just like pops in my head. Maybe because I have a dog, he's around here somewhere, I don't know. How can I make a YouTube channel that leads people to my website? I'm assuming, Sarah, that means you are in the pet industry as well. So yeah, what you can do is, and again, this is trickier when you're a local service. Like pet sitting is always going to be local. Like you can't really pet sit across the country most likely. So you can do it by using the location hashtags. I talked about this earlier. You can also offer some kind of a external offer that's more about like something to do with your dog, like whether it's training, whether it's so if you offer pet sitting, it could even be like the kind of thing where you can train other pet sitters. You know what I mean? Like that could be a separate arm of your business where you can do pet sitting, but then you can also like train other people to do what you do in a responsible way. You can show them how to get their credentials, like their insurance or whatever it is they need. So that's kind of all I've got for you right there. Okay, Quiet King, what if I specialize in the site management and services that only a human can do? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this is a what if response to, but what I will say is I think people are going to be surprised what only a human can do. How long that's going to last, we don't know. I mean, there's robots right now. Like, I don't know what they're going to be able to do in 10 years. So I don't know. Let's see. All right, Art and Mars, based on your experience, what kind of content performs best for service-based businesses on YouTube? Yeah, so again, it's going to be starting with the FAQs and then going into like any kind of a list-based topic is good too. So anything that really leans into that DIY aspect. So if people are, and so apologies, I've already kind of covered this before, but if you offer cleaning services, I don't know. If you did some kind of like, if you did a channel about cleaning hacks, cleaning tips, how to organize your house, all that kind of stuff puts you as an expert in that service. And then it just makes people naturally trust you and think you're good at it. And then at a certain point, some of them will be like, oh, he does this for clients? I want him to do it for me. So then they'll look you up, they'll find your link in your description, and that's how it works. All right. Brad Parkinson. I'm a health practitioner and my website is my name. Should my homepage leading image still be of my ideal client or should it be of myself? Great question, Brad. I always say it should be like a happy customer photo. For anyone unfamiliar, that just means the main photo in your hero section of your site should be showing the happy aftermath of what your customer feels like, looks like after they've worked with you, whether that's like relief on their face or something like that, satisfaction. I still think, Brad, in your case, unless I'm coming to a caveat, it should be your a client photo, not a client photo, but like a happy customer photo. It doesn't have to be really them. It can be a representation of them. The only time I think it's good to have or preferable to have your own photo up there is if people are going to your site knowing exactly who you already are. Meaning, I do this because no one goes to my website if they haven't found me on YouTube, right? And I used to have like that happy customer photo on my website and people thought it was kind of weird, you know? So if you're some kind of a like personal brand, but by that I mean like a known personal brand, you're known to the people coming there already. So if you have a podcast or if you're like kind of high profile on like Instagram or something, and they're all coming from there, that's the only way I'd recommend doing it. But if it's like if you're a doctor, I don't think it's the best thing to do. Your picture would show up 2 sections down in that like solution area where you've pointed out the problem that they're experiencing. Now, hey, I'm Dr. Parkinson. Nice to meet you. Here's why I'm qualified to help, that kind of thing. All right. Jimmy Mercer, where do you save and upload your video and images for your editor? Just Dropbox. It's pretty easy. We just have a team subscription to that. SwiftRoot, this is awesome. This is awesome. You're welcome. How do you avoid cramming too many ideas into one video? How do you balance depth without overloading? I struggle with either going too deep or feeling it's too basic. Yeah, that's a great question. It's really thoughtful. So what you want to do is make sure every video has like a focus to it, and you don't want to go too far out of that focus, right? So if it's a how to, I can't think of any examples. I hate when I'm on the spot, I have to think of example things. But basically, if it's a how-to video, you don't also want to go into the whole history of the thing. But if it's explaining, like I'm recently working on a video about the term vibe marketing, right? what is that, right? That's the focus of my video. What I'm not doing is a tutorial of how to do vibe marketing in there, because that's not the promise of the video. The video is going to be called, spoiler alert, you'll see it whenever it comes out, but it says, is vibe marketing the future, right? So that's the question I'm posing in the video, and I'm attempting to answer that question in the video. A little bit of an origin of the term, a little bit of like, you know, what it is and all that stuff, and like, does it have legs, right? What it's not is a tutorial. So hopefully that makes sense. You just have to like rein yourself in a lot. And I'll pop this one up because Sarah's shouting out Yusuf. Do you use Yusuf too, Sarah? Interested. All right. Mike Belkin, any tips geared specifically for an online men's health clinic treating patients for things like hormone replacement therapy? Yeah, so what are we talking about? I'm not sure what you mean, Mike. I don't know if you're talking about YouTube or what. Any tips geared specifically for an online... Yeah, I'll assume you're talking about YouTube topics. Yeah, I mean, this would be a great YouTube channel to talk about these things. So like if we're talking about hormone replacement therapy, I would just say like hormone replacement therapy for men over 40. Same thing for men over 50. You can kind of start there. You can even just do like, what is hormone replacement therapy? Or does hormone replacement therapy really work? You know what I mean? These kinds of questions. And you've got a gold mine there if that's what you're doing. All right. Just trying to find a good question now. Okay, Art and Mars. For someone super shy and inexperienced, what tips can you give when facing the camera and freeze? So the best thing I would say, Art, is start training yourself on a teleprompter. Because I used to have that same thing, right? Like I would kind of have a sense of either you have to like memorize a script or just make it easy and just have it there. And just, so all you have to do is show up and like kind of perform it a little bit and just read it as if you're thinking about it for the first time. So yeah, teleprompters work really well for me. I realize they don't work great for everybody, especially people who have like neurodivergent, like dyslexia or something like that. That can be tricky. But if that's not you, and you can just, if you think reading a teleprompter is going to be easy enough for you to do, I would start there, because then you just have to read it, right? You've got a task to do, as opposed to like, because it can be demoralizing, right? Even if you're not going live and you know that like you can just do it again, it does kind of like feel like it's one of those things where the more things go wrong, the more you're in your head and the more it's going to go wrong, if that makes sense. So that's why I like a teleprompter, honestly. Prerac says, which software are you using for this live? It's called Ecamm Live. Then Sarah says, I didn't know Midjourney updated. I got really frustrated with using AI for images. Yeah, try using the 7 version, Sarah. I think I can't complain about them. Like, they look really good. James Ruffer created AI agents to do the things you showed in your recent local SEO video. Cool. It takes the base information from Google Business Profile and creates 178 citations. Should we make this a product? I mean, if that's what you do, James, if you're like a local SEO guy, I would. I mean, just make sure that it works right. You don't want to steer anybody wrong. And the thing about AI, it can sometimes do things wrong. So you got to really test it and make sure it's gonna do what you say it's gonna do. All right. And Kathleen, you're asking about homepage layout tips for a Shopify store. I don't really talk about e-commerce, unfortunately. Like it's not my lane. It's not my period. It's not my zone of expertise. So I can't really weigh in too much there. I would just say, okay, high-end cabinetry that usually needs consultations first. Yeah, so cabinetry, I mean, is that like so people are buying cabinetry? I think of cabinetry as like a service, like a contractor coming in and doing my cabinets, not just buying them on a website. But I would say like you still need to talk about the results. You need to talk about get into the emotion of it, right? Always remember that people are not buying things like that for the wood, right? They're not buying the cabinets. They're buying a feeling. They're buying like they're upgrading their life somehow. Lean into that, and you'll sell it better, I think, if you're not already doing that. All right, beautiful. What sort of lead magnet would work for a local virtual tours service business? I'm not sure what virtual tours are. Is that like where it's just like audio and you just kind of do it yourself? Yeah, what I would say like a lead magnet off the top of my head would be, the best one. I don't know if you were here earlier when I was talking about the custom GPTs as lead magnets, but you can make like GPTs where you would load all of your favorite things to do in all of your cities into it, and then like put a lot of stuff for every city, and then ask them so that the GPT would like just ask them 2 questions. Where are you going? And what do you like to do the most? You could even make it like multiple choice. You could give them options. Like, do you like history? Do you like day drinking? Which is kind of what I like to do on vacation, or whatever it is. And then it'll spit back like a custom itinerary for them. I think that would be cool. Or just a lo-fi version of that would just be, tour, like checklist, what am I trying to say? Like, yeah, just itineraries for a city, like a 2-day itinerary for London or wherever, Let's see. Oh, we got a super chat here. Nice. I forgot this was even a thing. Yeah, happy to answer your question then. All right. From Tony Blair, not that Tony Blair. If you were a broke-ass service business-based company and you had limited funds, would you do local Google ads, regular Google ads, something else? Yeah, I would say like local Google ads are probably going to be the best thing to do. But if you're broke, like you gotta work that in, because Google ads are not super cheap from what I know of them. But yeah, sometimes if you're just trying to get people in the door though, you need to do something. I would at least do a test with that. I wonder if they still do the thing where you can get like credits. I don't know if that's still a thing. I know they used to give like a certain number of credits for free Google ads or whatever. I would start there. Definitely don't do any Yelp advertising. That is like the biggest scam in the world, and they will retaliate the second you stop advertising with them. So don't go down that road. But yeah, I think local Google ads would be the best thing to do, or like, what do they call it? Like, yeah, local service ads. I assume if you're a service business, I would say the local service ads are probably the thing to do. And a friend of the show, who's a student of mine, David Jackson, we did a video with him recently. He has some really good local service ad videos on YouTube that you can check out just to see, the best way to do it there, I guess. All right. Oh, and it looks like we got another super chat too. I haven't been paying attention to this. All right. From James, thank you for answering my question. Love your, not even a question. Thanks, James. Yeah, I mean, I do what I can. Do it for you guys. All right. SwiftRoot says, oh, he's answering somebody else. Let's see. Jarmaine, cheeky question. What's the average CPM for website videos? Yeah, anyone who doesn't know, CPM refers to like how much does YouTube pay you, right? And like for business or tech, or not tech, but like business or finance type videos, the CPM, which is how much money they pay you, is a lot higher than for a lot of industries. But if you talk to business owners, like it's pretty good. So, and I forget which is CPM and which is RPM. The one where it's like how much, because one is like calculates how much it generates in total, where Google splits it with you or YouTube splits it with you. And the other number is just how much I make. It's like, I think it's like $30 per 1,000 views or something like that. So it's on the higher end of it for sure. All right. Scott Ford. And it's we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes now. We'll keep going for a little bit longer. So I'll just keep going until I'm like kind of out of steam here. It's approaching, so I'll keep going though. Have you tested any lead response or straight outbound AI voice agents to contact leads? I have not done that. I know companies have done it, and I think it works fairly well from what I know of it. But yeah, no, Scott, I've not done it myself. Andre, a little late to the party. What's best advice for somebody that wants to start as a web designer or developer today? So what I would say is, I already touched on this earlier, I'll make it quick. I would be a lot less into the development side and the just designing side and a lot more into the strategy side. Because that's something that AI is not going to, I don't think AI is going to prioritize that anytime soon. Like developing, coding, like that's already scary close to being taken over by AI. So I would go that direction with it for sure. All right. All right, Steve Grady. AI avatars are really getting realistic, like HeyGen Avatar 4. What's the tipping point for you, real versus AI versions of ourselves? I don't know what you mean by the tipping point, Steve, but they are getting good. You can still kind of tell that it's AI, but I think that's gonna get really good within the next 2 years to where maybe you can't. What I will say is, like for YouTube, I don't think there might be some call to like augment your videos with talking head AI versions. But think about so many channels, like if you're demonstrating something, your AI avatar can't do that, right? Like if I don't know, like trying to think, and like what I talk about, it's mostly just like if I'm showing something that's usually on a screen, so it's different. But if I'm like a channel showing people how to fix a car or how to wash a dog or something like that, the AI avatar not going to be able to do that. Maybe in like 20 years it can do stuff like that, but for now, like it just can't. So I am going to be experimenting with something. I'm interested to try it. Little peek behind the curtain over here. I want to do the HeyGen avatar where I can walk and talk. And I want to do it in several locations, like outside, like in different areas, like coffee shops, walking on the street, so that I can sprinkle in here and there in the videos, like just like one sentence where I'm like walking down the street, like quick enough to where you wouldn't know it's AI, right? So now you know that if you see that in the next couple of months, it's probably going to be an AI version, and let me know what you think. But yeah, interesting. Like I think it can really be helpful for things like that, just to kind of like, because here's the thing, I don't want to go outside to coffee shops every time I film. I would like to do that for like one day, spend one day getting all that, then being able to reuse that as I want for all my videos without me having to like inconvenience myself and feel weird shooting in a coffee shop, you know? All right. I'm probably going to be going for just a few more minutes here. Let's see. All right, Gene S. For my city tour business, our main clients are corporate groups that are like tech companies that are looking for awesome team building experiences. What are some lead magnet ideas to attract them? Yeah, so I would say, again, a custom GPT could work really well, like team building, custom team building. I don't know. I might ask ChatGPT about that, like have it do some deep, like not deep research, but have it do like its reasoning model. Tell them what you do and say, I want to create a custom GPT for this client avatar, whoever's like, whatever job title is in charge of usually hiring you, and see what it gives you. But I think that could be a really interesting idea. And I think that's going to be like the best kind of lead magnet to offer because it's so novel and it actually feels like people are getting a piece of you and they're getting almost like a little coach or a consultant versus just like a PDF, which is, let's face it, not as valuable as it used to be. All right, so I'm just going to answer a couple more questions. So I'm just going to kind of go through here and see what questions appeal to me and what I can probably best answer. So bear with me for a second. And I'm trying to like not tread over too much ground I've already covered too. Let's see. Okay, Ahmed. My question would be how to position yourself as an authority in web design when outreaching businesses so they believe in our service. Or yeah, YouTube. Like that's the best way to build authority. Like you start making videos, they start finding you through your videos, then you're not having to reach out to them at all anymore. Bill, I'm considering the Profitable Website Launchpad course. Have you updated the course recently? I ask because I think I was considering this course years ago. Yes, Bill, we did update it 2 or 3 months ago, something like that, where it's got like, it's a lot more robust with AI tools built in to where it takes like almost all the heavy lifting off your plate. And you can basically it just kind of asks you questions with the AI and it has all my best formulas and frameworks baked into the AI. And then it gives you back like the best possible copy. And then, yeah, the rest of it's kind of the same, but that's like a game changer, I think. Okay, Andreas from Cologne, Germany, welcome. What is your secret tip for putting in AI functionality on a website? There's no secret tip here, but there's a few things you can do. Like you can really make elements that are meant to kind of act almost as a salesperson in real time. I have this on several of my on my course sales pages for people when they're wondering if it's right for them. It's just meant to answer that question, right? And it can converse back and forth with them. So you can do that. You can do an AI price estimator tool, which is really cool. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do. And you can use AI to code certain things to go on your site too. So AI is like, it's going to really make websites something much more interesting in a few years because they're going to be a lot more interactive, which I think is going to be super interesting. Let's see. Mark Mueller, I've seen sites where they have a huge list of cities for their service area at the bottom of the homepage. Does that actually help with searches? Yeah, it can. I mean, it's not that they're all at the bottom of the page. It's just that they've got all these pages that are meant to go after that traffic for, again, I'll use the example I used earlier, like lawn mowing Chicago, lawn mowing Naperville. So you're just making all these pages to where these are not going to rank you in the map listings, mind you. These are going to rank you just in normal SERPs, search engine, the results underneath the maps, theoretically. But again, SEO is kind of like going to be diminishing returns over the next year or two. Okay, LJC. From when you were designing websites, of all the things you could do for a client when building a website for them, what was the top things that brought them the most visitors in sales? Okay, so visitors is a different, that's traffic. So I'll just talk about like what helped them convert the most. It is when we started making the customer, like the end client who's coming to the website, when we reflected their journey on the website and stopped talking about the business on the website. So many businesses, they want to talk about themselves and you say things like, award-winning design agency. Like, I don't care if you want awards necessarily. What kind of results are you going to get me? That's the main thing. And the best thing you can do is really put like a lot of effort into your hero section, make that top headline and subheadline, really sing and really paint the picture of the result that people are going to get. That's going to do the most good. It's like the lowest hanging fruit that's going to do the best. And most people get it completely wrong. Oh, we got another super chat. Thank you for that, Mike Addison. Let's see. All right. You're unfortunately the little the emoji didn't make it here, but I like the description of it. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate the super chat. That's great. Okay, let's just do one more question. We've got an hour and a half. Let's see. I'm just going to choose the best one that I can find here real quick. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'll just go with this one. It's right here. Anorthotics. So if my Substack is on how to humanize your ChatGPT interactions order. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do a new one. I'm sorry. I don't know about Substack. I'm not going to be able to do a great job answering that question. Okay, let's do this one. Trollbridge Quizzard. HeyGen creates AI lookalike of your person. Do you think that's inauthentic and would turn customers off? Yeah, I mean, it's all in how you use it, right? What I was talking about doing earlier would be like in YouTube videos, in quick snippets, just to be able to make my videos better, not worse. That's the thing. What I wouldn't do is use it to just replace and just like, I'm not gonna make videos anymore. I'm gonna have AI step in for me. I wouldn't do that. I'll use it to like add something to my videos, which is like me being outside. It breaks it up. It makes it more engaging. So I would do it for that reason. When we're talking about doing HeyGen, like avatars on your website, like there's a few ways I could think of doing it. One would be like, if you were to do it in like an About Us kind of video, like a little commercial that I see a lot of people put on their websites, yeah, I don't think that would work very well. Even if like, the only way it could work is if it was very convincing, in which case it would just be a push and it would just be like, no one's gonna know, so what harm could it do? But if it looks at all unconvincing, if people can tell it's AI, yeah, you're putting yourself in a bad position. It's the same as, back in the day when companies used to put like just a stock image of like that girl like with the headset, like this is our customer service rep, but it's not their customer service rep. It's like a stock photo model. So those kinds of things can really subconsciously push people away because they think like, well, wait a minute, are there real people behind this business? Or is it all just AI? Or is it all just artificial, So that's the thing that we're going to be battling against, I think, over the next couple of years is people wondering and questioning whether you're real or not. We're in a very interesting time with AI. It's exciting in a lot of ways, but it is going to raise a lot of questions. And I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to have to start saying, like, we're going to have to tell people, like, this is real, this is an AI. It'll be like something we have to like mark, on all of our content just to make sure that people know that it's real, because it's going to get harder and harder to be able to pick it out. All right, guys. Think that'll do it for today. Sorry if I didn't get to all your questions. You guys brought the good stuff today, so appreciate that. Love being live with you guys. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. I think it'd be fun to maybe every couple months do something like this. So anyway, thanks for sticking with me. If you were here the whole hour and a half, I salute you, and we'll see you guys next time around. Happy Friday and have a good weekend.